In this lecture, let's configure Visual Studio Code for the best development experience. To get started, open Visual Studio Code. This is what it should look like. By default, it's going to open a random directory. We should point the editor to our project. At the top of the menu, navigate to File, Open Folder. I want you to point the editor to the project. I'm going to quickly do so. On the left side, we are presented with a list of files and folders available in our project. There are more folders than previously shown by the Unity editor. Let's quickly go over these directories. The first directory is called VS Code. This directory contains settings for Visual Studio Code. Unity creates this folder to hide prefabs, scenes, and other various files. This feature prevents programmers from accidentally breaking a file not meant for them. Our focus should solely be on writing code. The next directory is the Assets directory. We're already familiar with this directory. It contains the custom files for our project. If you were to look through it, you would be unable to find the models or prefabs from the project. As mentioned before, they're hidden from us, which is perfectly fine. The third directory is called Logs. This directory contains a list of messages generated by Unity during development. We can view the files from this directory to check for errors or warnings. Afterward, we have a directory called Packages. This directory contains a list of packages installed in our project. We can safely ignore it. The last directory is called User Settings. This directory contains the settings for the Unity editor. Overall, we can ignore most of the directories. Throughout the course, we're going to be working from within the Assets directory. Everything else is managed by Unity. Let's start configuring Visual Studio Code. To the left of the editor, there are 5 buttons. Click on the Extensions button. It should be the last button. Visual Studio Code is extensible. We can install extensions to enhance the behavior of the editor. I have a few extensions installed because I use Visual Studio Code for professional work. You do not need to install these extensions. Most of them are for web development. In the search bar, search for an extension called C#. Microsoft develops the C# extension. It adds support for the C# language in the editor. Let's install and activate this extension. Next, search for an extension called Unity Code Snippets. Code snippets are a feature for quickly writing code. You can think of it as autocomplete for programming. Rather than typing a long line of code, Visual Studio Code can help us finish the line by offering recommendations. This extension extends the list of recommendations by adding Unity-specific code. It'll help boost productivity. Let's install it. We're finished. I know there was a lot to go through. Taking the time to configure our environment will provide the best development experience. In the next lecture, let's start writing code.